Hello, and welcome to Education USA New Zealand's webinar series. My name is Katie Sleeman, and I am the Education Advisor based at the U.S. Consulate in Auckland. And we have here a couple of very special guests today to talk with you about one of the American University campuses and also about student experiences at those campuses as well. First up is our guest, Mary Comfort Stevens, who is at the Vanderbilt Office of Undergraduate Admissions. And she is an expert in the industry, having come from a guidance counselor background, but has been with Vanderbilt since January of 2013. And her territories include New Zealand and Australia, Central Asia, and also Nashville, Tennessee. Mary is, having gone to Vanderbilt herself, I believe, she's an expert of all things. And then in addition, we also have with us, direct from Washington, D.C., Tom Cochran, who is the Deputy Coordinator of platforms, so all sorts of virtual platforms that are used with the State Department as a whole. And it's very coincidental, but Tom just happens to be passing through New Zealand, learning more about technology and platforms that we are implementing here in the State Department. And he is a graduate of Vanderbilt University and can chime in about his student experience. So we're very lucky to have both of those people here with us today. Mary, I'd like to go ahead and turn it over to you to give an overview of Vanderbilt University.
Thank you, Katie. It's good to be here, and I would like to invite all of you to come and visit Vanderbilt in person. I'm going to show you a few slides of campus, but nothing translates like the real thing. So if at all possible, get yourselves on a plane and come right over here. We do have students from New Zealand. We'll connect you with those. But I want to show you some pictures of Vanderbilt and tell you a little bit about the campus and the ways in which I think Vanderbilt is a little bit different from some of the other places that we overlap with for applications, to help you to differentiate it in your own minds, and to think about what the liberal arts experience in the United States is all about, since that is something that's pretty specifically American at this point. So here we have a picture of Cornelius Vanderbilt. This is a statue of the Commodore that stands right in the center of our campus, or just at the entrance. Cornelius Vanderbilt gave a gift of $1 million about 140 years ago to start this campus at the end of our Civil War, at the behest of his wife. And the idea was to help heal the rifts between the North and the South at the end of that very unhappy period in our history. $1 million in those days was a lot of money, and he very generously gave that to a place that he actually never came to himself. So here we are in Tennessee, and I'm going to show you a little bit of an image of where we are in relation to other places in the United States. Tennessee is considered heartland. It's considered the Mid-South. So we're a little bit southern and a little bit Midwestern. And as you can see, a couple hours by plane from most of the places in the south and the northeast of the United States, and 4 hours from the Los Angeles airport. So once you get to the U.S., it's pretty quick to get here from anywhere. Lots of points of entry. And this is a slide that we show students who are applying from all over the globe. And we have students coming from all over the globe. So I think that's helpful to just position us for you. As you can see, the Northeast is where the states are smaller, the states get bigger, and the population less dense as you head further west. But in Nashville, we're right in the middle of the state of Tennessee, with rolling hills, lots of green, and in fact, our campus is a National Arboretum. So it's a very green space, despite the fact that we are right smack in the middle of the city. We are in Midtown Nashville. So you'll see some more pictures of that as we go on. All right, so a little bit of a few facts and figures for you. These slides date from a year ago. We're about to update them based on our Census Day data, but the facts and figures don't change that much. It tends to get a little bit updated each year. But by and large, you're going to expect to see just under 7,000 undergraduate students on campus. There are another 5,800 graduate and professional students, but they really occupy a sort of shadow universe. You never see them. They come into their med school building, law school, business school, and so forth, and that's like a job. They're there all day and they go on home. The undergraduates are the ones who live on campus all 4 years. All of our students live on campus with very rare exceptions. So it's very much a community of people, of undergraduates, of students ages 18 to 22-ish, who are living here and learning and interacting with each other, and students from all over the country and all over the world. So although there are 12,686 students total on campus, it's those 6,800 that you are likely ever to see and encounter. So this past year we had 31,400 and some applications for 1,600 beds in the first year class. So that is the number of first year students every year. We admitted last year 3,600 to get those 1,600, but as you can see, what that adds up to is an admit rate of about 11.5%, with 7% of those students last fall coming from international quarters, actually international citizens. This year was a little bit higher, 7.5%, and we're aiming ultimately for a proportion of about 8% of our student body coming as international students. American students living abroad are not considered international students, but they very much bring an international perspective that we value. So that's in addition to the 7% of students who actually are non-American citizens or permanent residents. Okay, so here we have, this is a view from the river side of downtown Nashville, looking at the business district with the skyscrapers. Vanderbilt's campus is at about 9 o'clock, if this were a clock. So if you look over to the left and toward the skyline, that would be where Vanderbilt's campus is. But just to give you a more realistic perspective, that building that looks like Batman, we call it the Batman building, not surprisingly, is at, I think, 4th Avenue, and Vanderbilt's campus runs from about 18th to about 25th. So 4th to 25th, you know, and then up a few blocks for where the first year students live. You could walk that. You could walk that. And you certainly can take a bus straight down Broadway, and you take that bus for free by swiping your Vanderbilt ID card. Your bus rides are already paid for as part of your tuition. So Nashville's a great town to go to college in. We have an incredible campus of our own, but when you want to branch out and get beyond the campus, you've got this very friendly city with lots of tourist attractions, lots of opportunities for internships, and a reputation for being the new it city. That's a double-edged sword, but we take great pride in that. So here you see it from the other direction. So now you're looking from the corner of campus where all of our first-year students live. These 10 residence halls right here are where 1,600 first-year students live together in community, in residence halls that vary from about 150 students to about 250 or 300 students, each of them with a faculty member and his or her family living in the residence hall with you. So that's been a noble experiment for the last 7-ish years and has been very successful. Students love it because it means that you see your professors as people, as human beings who have kids and dogs and pajamas and live with you. And it makes it so that they are not just distant talking heads that you might feel intimidated about approaching after class, but they are real people that you get to know. So that has been a terrific addition to the residential aspect of campus. And then what you're seeing, you can see the back of the Batman building again in the far distance. Again, that's only about 20 blocks away, so it would be walkable if you were ambitious. And that gives you the other perspective. So there we are with the bright lights, big city. But Vanderbilt's campus is its own little bubble. It really is a place set apart. And when you're on campus, you don't hear the noises of the city, and you don't have really a lot of intersection of bus lines and so forth cutting right through the campus. So it feels very much like a place set apart. We are a research university. We take great pride in that, but we also are a place that brings faculty members to this campus specifically to teach undergraduates. And we don't have a separate faculty of famous name people who would teach only graduate students. All of our famous name people, all of the faculty in all 4 undergraduate schools will teach you as undergraduates. So that is a terrific thing, and it's a question you need to ask anytime you're considering a university, because there are definitely universities that have an undergraduate faculty and a graduate school faculty. So at Vanderbilt, it's one and the same, with an 8-to-1 student to faculty ratio, and accolades all the time for undergraduate teaching. So that is a very fine thing. For the most part, your professors will be the ones who teach you. There will be some instances where you will have graduate students as well as instructors. So for instance, in a lab course, in a science course, you might have a professor teaching the lectures and then graduate students assisting with the labs. So that's the kind of situation where you would be most likely to see grad students. In large lecture classes like introductory psychology or introductory economics, again, lectures given by the faculty member, discussion sections led by grad students. Here's my favorite ranking. Number 1 happiest students at any college in America for the 2nd year running. So there you have it. You don't need anything else. If you don't want to go to college and be happy, you could look at other schools, but we're very excited about that. And I think it really is a tribute to the fact that Vanderbilt students are very, very bright, very accomplished, but want to keep a balance between the life of the mind and the social parts of living away from home at college for 4 years. So this is this is a celebration of color, and it's one of many celebrations. It feels as though Vanderbilt's always having celebrations. Lots and lots of opportunities to be involved. As you can see, more than 530 student organizations, and money to start a new one if there's something that you want to do that doesn't already exist. All right, we're going to segue into talking a little bit about admissions information, and I guess we could do that right now and then come back to Tom. So since we're on this slide, let me just say that it's important to know that there are various ways to apply to Vanderbilt. Our regular decision deadline is January 1st, and then we let students know by the end of March. However, if you are sure that Vanderbilt is your first choice, I would encourage you to consider applying early decision, which is a way of making a binding commitment and saying, this is my top choice college. If admitted, this is where I want to go. So to do that, you apply by November 1st for early decision 1 or January 1st for early decision 2, and we let you know about 6 weeks after your application deadline. So students who apply by November 1st and sign the early decision agreement saying, this is my top choice, will hear by mid-December. At that point, if you're admitted, you no longer have to apply to other schools. You let any pending applications know that you're going to Vanderbilt, and you're done. You're all set. Same thing happens if you apply ED2 on January 1st. You hear by mid-February, and you withdraw your application from all your other schools. It is possible to apply as an international student, early decision, and even if you're applying for need-based financial aid, we can let you know at early decision that you are admitted and that you have the financial aid that you need in order to come. So that is certainly something to consider. We take about half of our undergraduate students through early decision, and that is from an applicant group that's only about 15% of the total number. So that's pretty straightforward arithmetic. It is somewhat easier to be admitted at early decision. We will not offer you a wait list at early decision. We will say yes or no, and you're finished. So then you know you're in or you're out. So you either are coming to Vanderbilt or you're going back to Katie Sleeman and asking her for more advice about where else you might want to apply. We can talk about the money a little bit. I think that's important, an important factor as you're considering any college. Vanderbilt is a private college, so it doesn't matter whether you are applying from Tennessee or another state in the United States or from overseas. It doesn't matter whether you are a U.S. citizen or not a U.S. citizen. If we admit you, we will meet 100% of the need that your parents have demonstrated on their financial aid application. So we are need blind for U.S. citizens, which means we won't know when you apply if you are applying for financial aid or not. We are need aware for international citizens, which means we will know that you are asking for aid, but we have aid for international students as well. So that is worth considering. Not all American colleges have financial aid for international students. We do. It is limited. It is more competitive for admission, but there definitely is financial assistance. And if you're admitted, we will give you the assistance that you need. And as you can see, the average financial aid award last year was $45,000. And about 2/3 of our students are getting money from us in some form. So that doesn't make you exceptional in any way. It makes you normal if 2/3 of the students are receiving money from Vanderbilt. So that is something to think about very comfortably.